we did everything. I'm excited for everything that you talked about. I think everybody has everything they need to start Shopify. Anything we're missing? Is there
Um,
anything
yeah,
that we
I
didn't
just
talk
want to
about?
kind of share.
Okay, everybody, I'm here with Adrian Vonarx, t-shirt brand coach and fellow YouTuber. How you doing, man?
Dude, I am so happy to be here. Thank you
Wow,
so much for having me.
of
And I
course.
just want to say, like, this is truly an honor because I've been following you for a very, very long time. And the fact that we actually get to meet virtually face to face like this, and collaborate is just like it's a pinch me moment for me. So thank you for having me on. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, thank you for being here because I know you have so many, you got a lot of expertise, is what I'm trying to say. Coach, you've been doing this for a while, and I'm glad that you're going to share some of the things that I don't know personally. So glad to have you on here. We're going to talk about Shopify. We're going to talk about all things, what to sell on their marketing, the whole thing. So I do have a Shopify store. And I'm kind of doing this for me too, because I want to learn
Cool,
more
man.
about my Shopify and how to now that I don't have a 9 to 5, I can hopefully build that up and with your help and all of that. So
I
um,
think you should.
thank you. But before we start, I just wanted to let people know I was on your print on demand playbook podcast. I'll put that link in here. I'll put a video right here showing just a little bit. But that was great with you and Carrie. I was invited to that, and I had a great time. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'll put the link there.
Awesome.
But,
It was our pleasure having you. I mean, you're the only guest that we've had on twice now.
wow,
The show has been going since January 2023, and
wow.
the episodes with you get so many views, man, and so many listens. People just love it. You
Wow,
bring so
thanks so
much
much.
value.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's a great time, and you guys make it a great time. So I'm happy to do it whenever. It's
Thank you.
good. Before we start, for those of you that haven't followed that, can you tell us maybe just a little bit about yourself, what you've been doing, what you're up to, and your expertise?
Sure. Yeah. So long story short, back in December of 2015, I quit my unfulfilling job in Vancouver, Canada. And I actually moved to Thailand for 7 months, where I lived by myself. I just wanted to live like the 4-hour work week style lifestyle. The only problem was I wasn't an entrepreneur like yet. I quit my job before starting my business. I had done a lot of side hustles while I was working. But at one point, I came to a fork in the road of my life, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna like go to Thailand and I'm gonna figure it out. And it's not the strategy that I recommend other people do, but it did work out for me while I was in Thailand. I heard about print on demand from some of my friends, and really the rest is kind of history. So, because of print on demand, I've been able to remain self employed since 2016, travel the world, support my family. I've been able to employ my family. And that's always been a long term dream of mine. So, that was like a dream come true. Since starting in print on demand, I've made over $2.5 million in t-shirt and apparel sales across 2 brands. The first, I grew to 6 figures in 8 months. And the second business, my brother and I actually started as a side hustle to the first business. We scaled it to 6 figures and sold it all within less than 2 years. So it's been quite the journey. It's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of failures along the way. But it's been so fulfilling, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And what's even more fulfilling is now, what's even more fulfilling to me is actually helping others kind of do the same through my training and coaching program, T-Shirt Legends Academy, where I help people build profitable t-shirt and apparel businesses using Shopify and print on demand. So that's kind of like, I guess, like the short.
Wow, what a story. I didn't expect that. I didn't know your whole story, but I didn't know that you went to Thailand and did the entrepreneur thing, and that's amazing. And I knew about the businesses. That is also amazing, growing the businesses to millions and millions, and now you can help people do the same. And that's kind of why I brought you here, so that you can help my audience too learn how to do this thing. So thanks so much for taking the time out and doing this. I'm going to start right away and ask you the first question about Shopify, and that is, what are some of the benefits? We're going to talk about mostly Shopify here. I know there's pros and cons, but what are the benefits of Shopify, and why should someone choose Shopify for print on demand if they want to do print on demand?
Yeah, really good question. And you're totally right. There's pros and cons to Shopify. There's pros and cons to Etsy. There's pros and cons to Merge by Amazon. All of them have pros and cons. So I just want to preface everything I'm about to say by stating that you can have success on any of those platforms. The strategies differ, but the results can be the same. You can still have success on those platforms. So I'm going to speak from my experience as a Shopify first seller. I've always been a Shopify first seller. I've hitched my wagon onto the Shopify, cart, and I'm a big believer in it. So, I personally feel that the best way to build a profitable and sustainable business for the long term right now is with Shopify. And that's for a number of reasons. Again, the other the other the other platforms have their own strategies and you can have success on all of them. Okay. But this is just my own personal philosophies. So, first of all, Shopify is an owned platform. So, you actually own your website and your customer data. And this is where it really differs from any marketplaces, right? So, unlike a marketplace, like let's just say Etsy, for example, this is what I call a rented platform. And rented platforms are great for traffic, for buyers. But one of the problems with them is you're at the mercy of an algorithm. You're at the mercy of constant policy changes. Many people have their accounts terminated, many times for no good reason or without any clear explanation. And that's just something you don't have to worry about with Shopify. Like, I love Etsy. I actually sell on Etsy. I use it as a secondary sales channel to my Shopify business. But for these reasons, I've always been Shopify first. So I like to build a brand on the foundation of Shopify and then branch out from there. So that's kind of my philosophy. I just find that it's much less risky, in my opinion, since I don't have to wake up every morning worried that I'm going to receive an email saying that my account was permanently terminated and my livelihood is ruined overnight. That actually happened to me with Amazon a couple of years ago, and it was devastating, man. It caused me a lot of anxiety. I wasn't able to get my account back, and that was it. That was it. That opportunity was done. And so, from personal experience, I've experienced the anxiety and the loss of livelihood. And I just don't ever want to experience that again. And that's why I like building a rock solid foundation on a owned platform like Shopify. So that's one big reason why I believe that Shopify is the best platform for building a sustainable long-term business. Second is just really like full control of marketing. Now, one of the quote downsides of Shopify is that you have to drive your own traffic to your website. But I actually like to look at this as an opportunity since it allows for more predictable income and it's
Mm.
much quicker to get large income spikes with the power of paid advertising. So you don't have to hope that your listing gets discovered or you don't have to wait for it to rank. You can drive tens of thousands of people per day to a product immediately, like immediately. And contrary to popular belief, driving traffic is not hard with paid advertising. The harder part is actually having a product that people want to buy. And I think that this is where one of the biggest mistakes lies. So you have to be very careful, obviously, with driving paid traffic because driving traffic doesn't mean driving sales, right? Driving
Mm.
traffic doesn't always mean driving sales. So really, you need two things to make a lot of sales. You need a product that people actually want to buy, and you need eyeballs on that product. That's really what it comes down to. And so, if you can create what I call a winning design, and the way I define a winning design is it's a design that you can scale up profitably with paid ads. That's what I consider a winning design. If you can do this, you can create massive income spikes in your business on a regular basis by driving high volumes of traffic to that winning design. You don't have to wait for Q4. You don't have to wait for a holiday. Like, you can win all year round. And I do feel like that's another somewhat limiting factor of some of the marketplaces like Etsy. Again, I'm not trying to throw shade on Etsy because, like I said, I do really like it. I use it. And I think it's really great in a lot of ways, but a lot of the sales come in the fourth quarter, and that's great. But what if a lot of sales could come every quarter? That's the power of being able to control your own marketing, right? So that's why I'm really big on Shopify with the power of paid advertising. So I actually do a blend of free and paid advertising to get validation on my products. And when I get that validation in the form of sales, that's when I scale up. I take I call it a calculated risk approach, where first of all, I'll start with free or low cost marketing channels to promote my products. If I see validation, if I notice that a design is getting disproportionately more engagement than I'm used to on a design, then I'm going to take that as a form of validation. And what I'll do is I'll start running small budget ads. And if those small budget ads are profitable, then I increase the budget. If those are so profitable, I increase the budget. And that's how you can scale very, very fast. And really, when it comes down to it, you only need one winning design. Like one, I always tell my students, you're always one design away. One design can change your business and change your life. But that's not like the full strategy, right? Like, I don't want you to be a one-hit wonder. I want you to be a hit maker. Like, the goal should be to consistently roll out winning designs and use the validation from other winning designs and your own winning designs to continue releasing winners, so that you're just like the Taylor Swift of design creation, just hit after hit after hit. And that's how you can create a very profitable and a very sustainable business over the long term. One winning design is all you need, and that's just the beginning. I was actually, with one of my brands, I was able to create a winning design, and with the power of paid advertising, I was able to scale it up and get over $277,000 in sales in 60 days. Now, I surely would not have been able to do that if I were on a marketplace and I was waiting for my product to be discovered. The problem with that too is the longer you wait, the more opportunity there is for copycats to just copy your design. And then all of a sudden the marketplace is flooded with the exact same design, right? And so this is something that you also want to take into account. And this is why when my students do create a winner, or when I create a winner, my rule is always scale fast and hard. Scale while you have the most momentum at the beginning and before people are stealing your designs and you're getting all these kind of copycats and stuff like that. So that's another big reason, is you have control of your marketing. And this just allows things to be more forecastable, more predictable, and allows you to have the income spikes all year round. You don't have to wait for anything. You don't have to wait for the fourth quarter. Winners win all year round. And if you're driving your own traffic to it, it doesn't matter when you're driving that traffic. If it's a winning design and you're getting it in front of the right people, you're going to make sales. That's just how it is. And as you make sales and as you acquire customers, you can continue to market to them through free and low cost marketing channels like social media, like email marketing, and then you can turn them into repeat customers. So that's another thing that I really love about the strategy. And we can talk about marketing a little more. I won't get too much in the weeds now. I love marketing, super passionate about it, but that's another thing, is you can get a lot of repeat sales. So that's the second thing, is you have a lot more control of marketing. So of the brand experience. Now, in terms of branding and marketing, there are obviously a lot of benefits here. The downside is that you need to make people aware of your brand and you need to drive traffic to your products. The upside is that it's a lot easier to create brand loyal advocates, people who love your brand, who love why it exists, and who come back again and again. So that's another thing that I really like about it. When you have full control of the marketing, you can decide who you put your products in front of. And when you have full control of the branding, you can create a really good experience for people where they feel like this brand gets them, this brand was made for them. And one of the, kind of to compare that to a marketplace, your branding options are very limited in marketing in most marketplaces, right? So sellers because the branding options are limited, it's much more challenging to stand out from other shops on the platform. And that makes it more difficult to build that brand loyal following and to get customers to purchase again and again on repeat. So what this does is it leads to what I call commodity pricing on the marketplaces, where sellers are forced to sell at low prices to stay competitive, since many buyers on that marketplace, they just care mainly about the price. Like, they're just going on there and they're seeing a whole bunch of products that look the same from different sellers, and price plays a big factor because they don't know how to differentiate, because there's not many options for the sellers. Now, there are definitely factors that will improve your likelihood of making sales on marketplaces, like having professional looking imagery, having, high quality mock-ups, having lifestyle mock-ups. There's a lot of things you can do, but you're still very limited on the branding, and it's very limited in terms of how you can differentiate from every other shop. Like, so many shops on Etsy, they look exactly the same. So let's say that two shops do look exactly the same. A customer, what are they going to bring it down to? A lot of times they're going to bring it down to the price, right? And so with being able to control the brand experience on a platform like Shopify, where you have your own website and you have all your own branding, is what this does, it allows you to increase your perceived value more easily. And when you increase your perceived value, that's perceived, not actual value. It could be the same Bella Canvas 3001 that's on Etsy that someone's selling for $20, but you can sell for $35 on Shopify. And if you can increase that perceived value, then people are willing to pay more and you can set higher prices. Another thing too is that, unlike the marketplaces, you're just showcasing, like, the complementary products you're showcasing are your own. Whereas the marketplaces, when someone clicks on a product, they see a bunch of your competitors, and that's not cool for you as a seller, right? No one wants their competitors being marketed on the same kind of area, right? So that's another thing, is just full control of the branding experience, which allows you to better increase your perceived value, to stand up from the crowd, to charge higher prices. And when you can charge higher prices, you can usually get higher profit. And I just want to say, contrary to popular belief, building a website on Shopify, it is much simpler than most people think. Much simpler. They have pre-made website templates, so there is no coding required. I don't know how to code, man. I'm not techie at all, but there's no coding required. Much of it is just drag and drop or fill in the blank. And even a non-techie like me has been able to build multiple Shopify websites very quickly. So they do a really good job of making it very easy to build a website. The fourth thing I'll say, and then I'll end it there in terms of comparisons. Just what I said earlier, there's pros and cons on both sides, right? I'm just kind of giving my comparison as a Shopify first seller. Number 4 is you are building a sellable asset. So I don't know if I think you can sell a merch store, but I don't think you can sell an Etsy shop. I'm not entirely sure, but with Shopify, that is a non-issue. You can absolutely sell your brand. And that should be the goal. Even if you don't sell your brand, the goal should be to continue building a valuable asset that you can continue growing, or you can sell one day if you want to retire, or if you want to buy something nice, or if you want to just start another business, something like that, right? With every new sale, with every email, with every phone number, with every new social media follower, you are increasing your brand's value, and you are building this valuable asset that you can potentially sell one day. And I've been able to do it, and it was incredible. It unlocked a lot of freedom in my life when I was able to sell one of my businesses. But I'm still in the game and I still have that other one, right? So those are just some of the kind of big reasons why I personally believe that Shopify is the best way to build a profitable and sustainable business for the long term.
Wow. I didn't think that was really cool. I'm so excited to get. I already have a Shopify store, but if I didn't have one, I'm like, I gotta get one now. There's so many good things that you talked about. So cool. Great. So now that I'm excited to get the Shopify store
Let's
going,
go.
what do I have to start with? Do I have? I'm guessing I'm going to need a print on demand seller, kind of third party seller, right? Which one do you recommend and why?
Oh man, it's such a good question. It's actually quite challenging to answer.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the best answer I can give. So
Okay.
I actually don't think that there's a one size fits all print on demand partner. And my recommendation, it varies person to person based on what's important to them and their brand, because every print on demand, none are perfect, and everyone has pros and cons. Now, that said, most of my students use what I call the big three. That's Printify, Printful, and Gelato.
Mhm.
And if I were to start a business in 2024, I personally would use Printify as my print on demand partner. That's what most of my students use as well. There's a number of reasons why I really like Printify. So, first, they have low production costs compared to other print on demand companies. Second, they have the largest catalog, like an insane product catalog for you to choose from. They have over 900 products in their product catalog. It feels like you could sell almost anything there.
Mhm.
And then the third reason why I really like them is because I personally think that they're the most innovative and the most forward thinking of all the print on demand companies, at least right now. Like, they're really good about constantly adding new products to their catalog and jumping on trends. For example, in the last year, you've probably seen the Stanley mug absolutely blow up. Like, this is a product that has been popping off, right?
Mhm.
And very recently, I think it might still be in beta. They released a print on demand Stanley style mug. It's not Stanley brand, but it is a mug with a handle and a straw, just like the Stanley. And I love this because I've seen other brands sell products like this that are not Stanley brand. So, for example, there's a really popular apparel brand called Elevated Faith. These guys are amazing. They've sold over 1 million products. They started. I think it was started by a man in a bedroom in his parents' house. And now it's like this really cool premium Christian apparel brand. And they have a whole collection of Stanley style mugs that are not Stanley brand. But they just put kind of their slogans and their popular designs on there. And when you go on their website, last time I went on their website, a whole bunch of them were sold out. And you could see
Wow.
that they're selling very, very well for them. So I just love that about when a print on demand company supports sellers by allowing them to jump on popular trendy products while they're still popular and trendy. The other thing in terms of innovation is just this year alone, they've introduced 3 game-changing categories into print on demand that I've actually never heard of in print on demand before. And these are multi-billion-dollar industries that are now being disrupted by print on demand. And now us as print on demand sellers, we have the opportunity to capitalize on that demand. That is skincare, supplements, and coffee. You can now print on demand all 3 of these. And I'm not talking about just one type of coffee or one skincare product or one supplement. Like, if you go on Printify and you look at their catalog, you can see that they have multiple products in these categories. And I don't know of any other company right now that allows you to print any of these on demand. So that's really cool, right? This is what I believe the future of print on demand. Like, print on demand, I believe that we are just at the tip of the iceberg, and the data says the same. The data shows that print on demand is projected to continue growing significantly year over year, well into the future. And I believe that print on demand is going to continue to disrupt multi-billion-dollar industries and allow sellers like us to profit from that demand. And we should be able to, right? It shouldn't be a monopoly for the people that can afford to spend millions of dollars on inventory. I love that now we can enter those markets. So those are just some reasons, but yeah.
Wow, those are great reasons. And I did see that on Printify. I saw the coffee one. I forgot about the skincare, but that's a great point. Okay, so many products on Printify. Is there one that you would recommend starting with, or do we pick one or two, or how do we go about picking? Because I don't know. I'm guessing we don't want to put all those products on our shop at
No.
the beginning. So,
Yeah.
what are some best practices? What do you think that we should pick when starting our first Printify or store with Printify?
Sure, sure. Yeah. So I'm a big apparel guy just because that's always been my best selling product category. Now, contrary to popular belief, though, I don't think you only need to sell apparel. Like there's a lot of great complementary products that could make sense for you. So, for example, I'm just going to throw out an example. Let's say that you're in the coffee niche and you create coffee inspired apparel. Well, you could also sell coffee mugs. You could sell the thermal mugs. You could sell funny coffee wall art. You can sell all sorts of stuff. And now you can even sell coffee itself. How cool is that? All from one print on demand company. I think that's really cool. Same goes for fitness. Let's say you're in the gym niche, right? You can create a gym inspired apparel brand, but then you can also offer supplements. You can also offer, other products like mugs. People love to share their passions, and there's so many different products that make a lot of sense for a brand. But if you were to start with apparel, why don't we just start with apparel as a product category? Because this is my personal favorite. If I were to start a new brand this year, I would start an apparel brand. But if I weren't allowed to start an apparel brand, I would start a wall art brand. That's because I think wall art is a massive opportunity. I've met a lot of 6 and 7 figure brand owners who are focused primarily on wall art. And that's another product category that you can sell on Printify, and a lot of other of the print on demand companies, they offer wall art as well. But let's start with apparel. I digress. I'm getting too excited here.
There's so many things.
Yeah, right. In terms of apparel, I would keep it really simple. Maybe start with a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hoodie, and a tank top, something like that. Now, some of my personal favorites are, I got to shout out the Bell and Canvas 3001. I know it sounds so cliche, but this is a fan favorite. It's by far my best-selling t-shirt of all time, and I've tested a lot of different t-shirt styles. And I just think it's really good value for the price. Like, it's not generally the cheapest t-shirt to produce with print on demand. However, I think it's the best value in terms of the price. So it still has a low production cost, and it'll keep a lot of your customers very happy. Now, you can't please everyone. There's going to be the odd person who's going to have something to say about it, and they're going to want to return it. And that's okay. Like, there's no perfect product that's going to come with every product, right? But overall, that's the best selling t-shirt of all time for me. Now, the cool new kid on the block t-shirt is absolutely the Comfort Colors 1717. I love this t-shirt. It's super trendy right now. It has a very vintage look and feel. It's a little bit heavier. The colors, a lot of the colors are kind of like faded, muted pastel colors. People are just loving this t-shirt right now. So if you're like, I just want the most on-trend t-shirt right now, Comfort Colors 1717 is the one for you. In terms of sweatshirts, one of my favorite sweatshirts is the Gildan 18,000. This is very affordable compared to a lot of other sweatshirts, and it's trendy. A lot of people like the Gildan 18,000 sweatshirt. The same goes for the Gildan 18,500 hoodie. Again, it's affordable and it's trendy right now. In terms of tank tops, the next level, 1533. This is a fan favorite. And I, again, kind of like Bell and Canvas, it's great value for the price, for the production cost. And then another tank top is the Bell Canvas 8800. That's another really popular one. So pretty much anything Bell and Canvas or Comfort Colors, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of. I love those brands, those manufacturers, and what they create. Gildan, I would say it's more hit or miss, but I really do like their sweatshirts and hoodies. So that, in terms of clothing, apparel, I really like those. I also really, really love selling hats. Hats are actually my number one best-selling product of all time. And there's a number of reasons why I like these. It's very easy to create designs for them. A lot of times you can just take your best-selling design and you can put it on a hat. They're small and they're lightweight, which makes them really cheap to ship. They're usually one size fits most, right? Because they're adjustable. So this leads to fewer returns. People aren't like, oh, it fit too big or it fit too small. You don't generally have to worry about that. There are some exceptions. If someone has a really big head or a really small head, they might want to return. But trust me, it's nothing like the potential returns that you could get for the other apparel products. So that's why I love selling hats. There's just also a lot less competition in terms of selling hats versus something like selling t-shirts. I sell them all. I sell the t-shirts, the hoodies, the sweatshirts, the tanks, and the hats. But some of the hats that I really like that are offered in Printify are the classic dad hat. It's really trendy right now for men and women. I would say it's more trendy for women
Hmm.
than men, and it's ironic because it's called the dad hat, but it's really popular. And then the unisex distressed cap, which I believe is the most popular hat in Printify right now. A couple other honorable mentions: the
Okay.
Velveteen plush blanket. It's really popular in Printify. And what I like about this product is you can make a lot of profit per blanket, which who doesn't like that, right? Like I love high profit products. And that's why I actually don't sell really low cost and low profit products like stickers and whatnot. I think it's cool when people do, and there's definitely benefits, and you can make a lot of sales, and it's great. But I actually like focusing on sort of the higher profit products. I would say t-shirts are probably like the lowest profit product that I focus on. And my goal is always to get people to buy that design on a sweatshirt or a hoodie because I know I'm going to make more profit there. And then for non-apparel items, like I mentioned, I really like wall art. I really like the matte vertical posters at Printify. And then I also like the canvas wall art. Was that enough or you want to keep going?
No, no, that's amazing. I'm glad that you went over like specifics. So I'm gonna put those in there. And wow. So if anybody that's thinking about starting a Shopify store, man, this is the video to watch because we talked about everything, where to get it, and exactly what products to use. Okay, so now we know Shopify, all the benefits for doing Shopify. We know Printify, use that, and you mentioned a bunch of products. Anything else? Any other best practice to maybe set up your Shopify store for good
Yeah.
success? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before I have one more pro tip about the
Okay.
apparel stuff,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
promise
Yes.
I'll stop talking about it.
No. No.
Um,
Keep going. This is great. This is gold. This is gold, man.
Awesome, awesome. I really hope that people are getting value out of this. But a little pro tip here: if you are new, and let's say you want to start an apparel brand, and let's say you go with a company like Printify, what you can do is you can actually go to the catalog, like go to their website, tap catalog, and then you can actually tap best sellers. That's one of the drop down options. And then you can just see for yourself what the best selling products are. And then you can make your decision based on best selling products, right? So just a little pro tip there. And a lot of products that I mentioned, you'll see in that bestsellers kind of category. But in terms of so the question was, what are some best practices when setting up a Shopify store? And I've actually kind of broken this down into a couple different parts. So I'll just go through it kind of one by one, if that's okay. The first thing I always recommend to my students is to pick a niche and get crystal clear on who your brand is for. Like, why does this brand exist? Who's it for and why does it exist? And this isn't the same strategy with a lot of the marketplaces, right? The strategy is different. You're going to learn differently. A lot of people don't niche down in the marketplaces. But when it comes to building a brand on Shopify, I'm really big on building mission-based brands that exist for a reason, brands that attract brand loyal advocates who love your brand, who love why it exists and love everything it represents and feel like their values align with that brand. And I believe the best way to do that with Shopify is to pick a niche, commit to the niche, and get crystal clear on who your brand is for. So a couple kind of sub points I'll say about this are: one, keep the niche simple. It does not have to be overcomplicated. I have so many students who it took them a long time before we started working together. It took them a really long time. They might have been spending months thinking of their niche. And I would challenge you to decide on your niche in 72 hours. Like, if you decide to go this route, give yourself 72 hours. I know that deadlines drive decisions. And if I give you a deadline, you're going to be able to come up with something. When it comes to choosing the niche, I recommend making it something that you're passionate about, something that you're proficient in. So you don't have to be an expert, but just something that you know a bit about. And if you're passionate about, that's most likely the case. And then third, that it's a profitable niche. And you can tell if it's profitable by just going out online and doing some research and looking for validation. Like, if there are successful brands in that niche, that is validation that it's a profitable niche. Remember, competition signals demand. So I don't want you thinking competition is a bad thing. I actually think competition's a good thing. And there are a lot of ways that you can enter a niche, but find ways to differentiate yourself and stand out from other competitors in that niche. So I like that. One red flag for me is when I actually can't find any brands for a particular niche. That is a huge red flag, and that is actually something that I personally would stay away from. The last thing I'll say about this when it comes to committing to the niche and creating for this niche is, if someone cannot tell within 3 seconds of visiting your website who your brand is for and why it exists, some changes need to be made. And the same goes for social media. You want people to be able to know right away when they're on your website, when they're on your social media, is this brand for me? And does this brand align with my values? And if those are the case, they're going to stay and they're going to hang out. But we as humans, we have short attention spans, and they seemingly seem to be getting shorter and shorter over time. So it's our job to hook people, to bring them in. And one way to do that is when they discover your website or your social media, them to be like, oh my God, this brand totally gets me. Like, this brand is for me. So that's the first point that I'd say: pick a niche, commit to the niche, get crystal clear on who your brand is for. Number 2, create designs that evoke emotion and relatability for your niche. Doesn't matter if it doesn't evoke emotion relatability for people outside your niche. Those are not your customers. You are serving this one subset of the population, this one chunk of the population. That's who you serve, and everything you do should revolve around them and their values and what's important to them. And so what you want to do is you want to make all your content, your designs, your products, you want to make all this stuff super hyper relevant to this particular niche, so that every product is a potential sale because they identify with this niche and they're passionate about this niche. So take time to conduct design research, take time to conduct competitor research, identify designs that are winning right now, and use them as inspiration for your own. I always say success leaves clues. That is not my own original quote. It's a quote that a lot of people use, but it's true. Success leaves clues. And I'm not saying steal designs. I'm highly opposed to that. I think it's super unethical, and I just don't think you should do it. But what I don't think anything is wrong with is using winning designs, successful designs that are winning right now, as inspiration for the designs that you create. Find a way to make it better. Find a way to add value. Find a way to make it relevant to your niche. And by doing this, you're going to increase the likelihood that it's going to win for you, right? So just remember always, when you're creating your designs, put time aside for design research. And when you're creating, remember, success leaves clues. The third thing I want to say is, when it comes to building your website, do not overcomplicate the process. Keep it simple. This is something, so I know that complexity is the enemy of execution. So everything I teach, I try to teach in a very simple, digestible, easy to understand way, because I think that it's so easy to complicate the process for any of these steps. And it's easy to build it up on our head and make it seem so much bigger than it actually is. But here's the thing: you don't need a fancy website to make sales. In fact, I see a lot of simple websites making a ton of sales, and I see some very fancy websites making 0 sales. Your website doesn't make you your sales. It's your products. The focus should be on the product. So keep the website very simple. Of course, you want it professional and trustworthy, but keep it very, very simple and keep the focus on the products. Those, remember, are what are going to make you your sales. Now, when it comes to making your website clean and professional, use high quality imagery. You don't want blurry or pixelated imagery, or your logo. You don't want to be blurry and pixelated. Make the navigation very easy. Make it simple. Make it easy to move around your website so it's a good shopper experience. And just make sure that it's free of spelling and grammar errors. I see so many websites that have these, and it's an instant trust breaker, right? And if you can't gain trust, then it's going to be hard to make sales, because that is an important element, right? And that kind of leads me to the next one: is you want to make your website trustworthy. So no sales mistakes, no spelling, no grammar mistakes. Have a lot of social proof in the form of customer reviews, user-generated content. Have great customer support. So you want to be responsive to your customers when they have questions. Remember, if they're reaching out to you, in a lot of cases, they want to buy and they just need a question answered. So being responsive for them, have a thorough, frequently answered FAQ, frequently asked questions section on your website. And then the last thing I would say, oh, one thing I want to mention about that, if you're a brand new brand, obviously you're not going to be able to have a bunch of customer testimonials and reviews, right? There are ethical ways of getting these at the beginning. And as your brand grows, you are going to collect more. And it's statistically proven that if you have customer reviews on your website, those products are more likely to convert. Now, obviously, it comes down to the product itself, but any little elements are going to help people be more comfortable making that purchase. We want those. And social proof in the form of customer reviews is one of the best ways to do that. You can never have enough. And the last thing I'll say is on the product page itself on your website, again, keep it really simple, but give the shopper all the information that they need to make a purchase and no more. I see a lot of product pages where there's not all the information and it leads to a poor shopper experience because they have to go all around the website looking for the answer and they have to navigate away from the product page. And you just never want that, right? But then I see some where they give way too much information and it's actually quite overwhelming. And that's also not a good shopper experience. So what's most important is having high quality imagery of the actual product, having a product description, having sizing information. Everyone wants to know how it fits, and then having the estimated delivery date. People want to know how does it fit and when is it going to be on my doorstep. So if you can provide those things to them along with the product descriptions and the high quality imagery, you're in a really good spot. Eventually, you're also going to want the testimonials, the reviews, because those are really going to help you out as well. I think that's it in terms of best practice for Shopify. So I'll end it there. I'll stop talking. I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Wow, those are really good tips. I've been writing things down as you've been saying them, and wow, I like the one that I like. The one is keep it simple, because I think a lot of people go into Shopify thinking, oh man, I can't do Shopify. It's so complicated. I got to do this. But yeah, you made it clear that you want to keep it simple, and there's the templates and everything. So I think that's cool. All right.
Yeah.
So
can I just say one thing about
that?
that?
Please.
Yeah. Like the whole business model, the team should be keep it simple, simple niche, simple designs, simple website, simple marketing. It doesn't need to be complicated, and it shouldn't be complicated because complexity is the enemy of execution.
Yeah,
if it's
like
super complicated, you're just not going to do it. You're going to put it off or you're going to avoid it. But like, there is no evidence to support that complexity makes you more likely to make sales. In fact, I would argue the opposite. It's simplicity that helps you make more sales. It's keeping the niche and the designs and the website simple that allows you to focus your energy on really the sales generating activity. And that's design research, design creation, and marketing.
Man, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I think we overcomplicate it in our heads, but like you said, it should be simple. And I love that quote. I wrote that quote down too. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Is that what you said? That's so true.
Yeah. Not my quote, by the way. Again, someone else gets credit. It's an amazing
it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense too, because like when I first started my YouTube journey, like I knew I had to get it. You know, if I made it too complicated, I wasn't going to get it out. And that's the thing. You got to get it out. So cool. You mentioned something really simple. You mentioned something earlier about keeping the marketing simple. And I want to touch on that maybe for the last thing, because you mentioned everything that needs to get set up. And one of the biggest questions I think people are thinking about with a Shopify store, I'm going to need some marketing. So what are some simple marketing tips? I know we could talk all day about marketing, but maybe some really high level, simple marketing tips that we can take away from this video for Shopify.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love marketing. Oh man, I nerd out over marketing. I love teaching it. So I'll try to just keep it really, really simple for this. But if you do want to do a future, a future conversation where we dig deeper in marketing, man, I am game. Like,
absolutely.
I would love. One thing you'll realize about me, if you watch my content or you follow me on social media, I don't gatekeep. I don't believe in gatekeeping. I believe that there's always room for great new brands. And I love seeing people win, man. Like, it feels good seeing people win. Even if they're not my students, I want to see people win. It's a beautiful thing. So, okay, marketing. I'm going to try to sum it up really succinctly and keep it really, really high level, because I know I've been talking so much. And I'm gonna try to keep this one pretty short. So when it comes to marketing, my general method, yes, you do need to market for Shopify. You need to drive your own traffic. I think it's a great thing. Some people would argue otherwise. That's okay. Each to their own. But when it comes to marketing, my general methodology is to choose one platform to acquire customers and just one platform to retain customers. So I call this your primary channel or your primary platform and your secondary platform. That's it. One primary platform, one secondary platform, and commit to mastery of just those two. Like, I don't know about you, Juna, but it's hard enough to master just one social
Mhm.
media platform,
Mhm.
let alone 4 or 5 or 6 or all the new ones that are always coming up, right?
Mhm.
And so this is why I say keep it simple and commit to mastery of one platform. So let me kind of break down what a primary platform is and what a secondary platform is. So when it comes to primary platform to acquire customers, to introduce to your brand and turn them into customers, I recommend starting with social media since it's free. There's a number of ways to get in front of a lot of people, to connect with niche specific communities and chat with your ideal customer directly, like in the DMs, for example. I recommend choosing just one social media platform, ideally where your ideal customer is hanging out, and commit to mastery of that one platform. Now, personally, I love Instagram. I love Instagram as a primary platform. It's been the primary platform that I've been able to use to scale up my brands. It's definitely the most popular platform that I see used by t-shirt and apparel brands. And I feel like it was just made for brands. It's very visual. You can create shoppable posts with Instagram shops. There are clickable links in your stories. So you can like have an image of one of your products in your stories and you can have a clickable link that takes them right to your website or to your Instagram shop. Meta, who owns Instagram, they have, in my opinion, the absolute best paid ads platform out there. It's been, ever since I started, it's been the best paid ads platform for t-shirt and apparel brands, in my opinion. And it just feels like it was designed for brand building, shopping, and sales. And there's a lot of data to show that a lot of people do go to Instagram to do brand and product research. So definitely Instagram's my favorite, but maybe you're in a different market. If you're trying to target Gen Zs, then maybe it's TikTok for you, right? I personally love Instagram. It's the one I see used the most. It's the one that I use. In terms of secondary platforms. So the purpose of the secondary platform is to retain existing customers. So this is a platform where you actually own your audience and you can market to them regularly to encourage repeat sales. So what you have to realize about social media is you are on a rented platform. It's like marketplaces, right? You're taking up space on someone else's land and you're renting that. And they can change the algorithm, they can terminate your account, they can do a lot of things to your business and your livelihood that can be pretty devastating, right? And so the goal of the primary platform should be to bring people to your secondary platform. And that, my favorite secondary platform, is email marketing. This is still extremely effective, contrary to what anybody says. It still works, and it's not going anywhere. It is very, very powerful. Building an email list is not only a great way to convert people that might not have bought yet, but have subscribed to your list, but it's also very great for getting repeat sales. And it said the fortune is in the follow-up. I 100% believe that. And a lot of people don't talk about it, but a lot of the profit is made in the repeat sales. So for example, if you're running ads to acquire a customer, you're paying a fee to the ad platform to acquire that customer. But if you can get them to buy again and again and again through a low cost channel like email marketing, guess what? That customer gets more profitable over time, right? They're a lot more profitable when you're not paying that fee every time to acquire them. So that's one big thing. And then the other thing I just love about it is if you can build up a high quality email list, not only can it be a license to print money, you can do promotions, you can test your new arrivals to look for validation, but also this is going to make your brand more valuable as you grow. And if you were to sell this valuable asset in the future, if you have a big valuable list that converts, then people are going to pay more for your brand. So I'll leave it at that. uh,
Those are great.
I could talk for hours
No.
on either of these, but I'll leave it there.
Those are great. Those are great. Yeah, I think I think you're right on with that, and I love Instagram too, so that's perfect. So I think a lot of people use social media, and I'm already they're probably already using it anyway. So that's really
Probably.
cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably familiar with the platform already, so
Mhm.
it's not gonna be that hard for you to market your brand on there. What I will
Cool.
say when it comes to social media content, sorry,
No, you're
to
good.
say one more thing. I promise this
Yeah,
will be the
yeah,
last thing I say about it,
yeah.
is
No, keep
lead
going.
with value. Lead with value. One of the biggest
Mm,
mistakes
mm.
that I see people make on social media is all they do is post their products.
Yep.
That just doesn't work. It might work for a big brand like a Supreme or a Louis Vuitton, but for brands who are trying to get discovered, it's one of the quickest ways to kill your growth and to not grow on Instagram.
Mhm.
So what you should do is you should focus on offering value on your page to draw people in and to get the Instagram algorithm to recommend you to people in your niche. And
Yeah.
how you do that is by offering high value content that evokes emotion and relatability specifically for your niche.
Nice. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think a lot of people want to cheat the system, or we talked about not we talked about, but we've all heard about people like trying to buy followers and things like that. I was like,
Oh,
that doesn't help.
no.
That's so dumb because you're not actually giving people value. The thing is, you need to. The reason why people are on social media in the first place is to get something valuable, either something funny or something educational or something like that. They're not going on there. People know when they're getting advertised to, and so
Totally.
yeah, I
Totally. You got
totally
to
agree with you.
educate,
Yeah.
entertain, or inspire. That's
Yes.
that's how you're
Yes.
going to get more followers and how
Thank
you're
you.
going to get people on board loving your brand.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So thanks for mentioning that. I think a lot of people are like, I do social media and it doesn't work. Like, well, you're probably doing it wrong then because you need to follow those rules. Okay, great. I
There's
think
a
we did
strategy. Yeah.
we did everything. I'm excited for everything that you talked about. I think everybody has everything they need to start Shopify. Anything we're missing? Is there
Um,
anything
Yeah,
that we
I
didn't
just
talk
want to
about?
kind of share
Okay.
kind of in closing.
Yeah.
I know we're wrapping things up. I just want to share in closing. Like, I am like not a guru. I don't consider myself a guru. I've never considered myself a guru. Um, I'm just like any normal person who followed a proven, tried and tested strategy and got results. Like, I want you, the listener, to know that there is no magic here. Like, there is a strategy. Luck is a, or what is it? There's a quote, a really good, that says, success is a result of strategy, not luck. And I could not agree with that more. Or I could not agree with that more. It is so true. Like, find a strategy, follow a proven, tried and tested strategy, and you can see results just like me, just like any other successful seller out there. There's no magic here. I'm nothing special. I'm not techie. I'm not a graphic designer.
Mhm.
So I just want to let you know that if I can do this, anyone can. So that's the one thing I wanted to say. Sorry, Juna,
Sweet.
back to you.
No, no, that's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think a lot of people might look at us and be like, "Oh, I can't do that. These guys are professionals." But you're right. I think
No,
follow the
man.
strategy and anybody can do it. So this is perfect.
Totally.
Thanks so much for sharing all that. I think there's so much gold in this one,
Thank
especially
you.
people wanting to start their Shopify store and now they have a base on especially all the products that you mentioned. That's so cool that you mentioned all of those and where, which ones and why and all of that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this over and over again and take more notes. This is so cool. Well, for those that want to follow you even more, where can we find you? I put a few down here. I got
Thank you.
ecomlegends.com and your YouTube, but anything else you want to mention before we go?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Thank
Yeah.
you. So I try to put out a ton of free content. Like I said, I don't gatekeep. I don't believe in gatekeeping. I think there's room for all of us. And I love seeing people win. So I put out a ton of free content on social media. I'm on YouTube, Adrian.Vonarx. You'll see it there at
Yeah.
Adrian.Vonarx. I'm on Instagram at Ecom Legends Academy, exactly how it's spelled,
Right there.
Ecom Legends Academy. I'm
Mhm.
on TikTok at Adrian Vonarx. I have a podcast, Print on Demand Playbook. I not only put out a lot of free content, but I also have a ton of free resources. So if you are interested in starting a business using Shopify and Print on Demand, if you click on a bio link in any of my social medias, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, you'll see a whole bunch of free resources that I've created for you, including a free 90-minute masterclass on how to make your first $10,000 with Shopify and Print on
Mhm.
Demand, where I show the exact strategy that I was able to use and repeat and a lot of other people want to use to see results. So yeah,
That's so
this
cool.
has been so much fun, man. Thank you so much for having
Thanks,
me.
Adrian. You have so much knowledge, and you're so it's so nice of you to just like give it away and give everybody the strategies they need to do this. That's why I do it too on YouTube. So I think we're aligned in that way to just help people, man. This is great. You helping them with Shopify and knowing how to do that, and you give so many good tips on this one. Hope
Thank you, man.
everybody's stayed this far and watched it, and go watch it again, and go visit Adrian on all his other websites and YouTubes and all the places that he shares some really, really good stuff. Thanks again for being on my channel, and thanks for sharing all your knowledge. This has been great.
Thank you so much.
And we may have to do another one. Just I know you love marketing, so maybe next month or something. Let us know if you've gotten to this far. Let us know in the comments whether you want to see that or not. Learn more about marketing your Shopify store. I think that
I
would be
would
great.
love that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you guys want to go down the weeds on Instagram or email marketing, let's
Yes.
go. Like, drop
Yes.
it in the comments. I will be there,
Yes.
and I will not hold back. I promise.
Wow, exciting, exciting. Yeah, put that in the comments. Let us know and get excited. Well, thanks again, Adrian, for being on my channel. We'll talk to you later.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
All right. See you, man.